Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Bearded Paddler here. Just wanted to do a quick video here for you discussing the differences between a 10 and a 12-foot kayak. What's the difference? Does it matter? Who uses a 10-foot or a 12-foot or vice versa? So we'll talk about that and really the small differences between the two kayaks, but what you get maybe with the longer or the shorter one as well. So let's talk about it. We'll break right into it. All right, guys, so we'll get right into it here. You've probably seen my other video I did on the Pescador Pro model. I'll kind of link that up top here. So I'm just going to focus on 10 versus 12 footer. What's the difference? And this comes up a lot with customers. So when you show someone a 12-foot kayak, they think, well, that's a little too much. That's too much kayak. But is it really? So I've got these lined up. So the 10-footer is in the tan, 12-footer is in the blue here. So you'll see I've got it lined up here where the back, and I'm talking about just the cockpit here, and then this right here. So your cockpit is the same size. It's not a tall versus small. It's not a his versus hers. They're designed for different uses. The reason it's important to me to get this out is because I feel like a lot of people that may go with the 10-footer might like the 12-footer a little bit better. We do demos for customers. We do a lot of, we'll do an event where it's just we got a lot of kayaks out. We're getting people out on the water, getting you to try them. If we do this side by side, same paddler, same experience, same equipment, probably a good 8 out of 10 people prefer the 12-foot performance. It's easier to paddle. It tracks better. A lot of people feel more stable because you get an added weight capacity and it's the same, you got the same cockpit size. Also, depending on what kind of gear that you're carrying with you, you can get a little bit better of a weight distribution. So you have, on the 12-foot, you're typically going to have larger storage areas on the back and the front. And again, I'm saying typically here, guys, but it's going to be more times than not here. So you can kind of see here on the rear end, so you can gain, I hope this is showing out on the video here, but you have a much smaller tank well. When I say smaller, I just mean not as long. So this one is a little bit wider maybe, but it doesn't come out as far as to where the 12-footer, you get a pretty good width there, but also it kind of tapers down to a slender. You've also got these little notches for your rudder setup. So a lot of people like to do rudders on 12-footers. Unless you're doing offshore stuff or really wide open water, I don't really feel like that would be necessary for a lot of people, but the rudders simply make a 12-footer a lot more maneuverable if you need to turn it a little tighter, or a lot of people use it to kind of help with tracking in some really choppy, maybe offshore water. But the nose up here too, the nose you're going to see a difference into just looking at the mesh cover. So again, you've got a nice storage on the 10-footer. But here you get a little bit more of a storage. The nose comes out a little bit more to a point. So the paddle performance on your 12-footers are going to be a lot easier on people, especially your beginners, and also your intermediate to advanced. They're going to enjoy the performance a lot more because, again, when you think of fast, easy paddling kayaks, you're thinking about those large touring kayaks, the 16 and 17 footers. But the difference between a 10, 10 and a half, and 12-foot kayak, it's going to be very minimal as far as how heavy that kayak is. So the 10-footer here comes in at 57 pounds. The 12-footer, you're looking at 64 pounds. So there's a really small difference. And a lot of these are the same parts, the same handles, maybe shaped a little bit different, but that different shape gives you a much easier paddle performance, and you're not getting a big barge. So just wanted to throw that out there, you guys. If you're looking at a kayak that comes in a 10 and a 12-foot model, don't overlook that 12-foot model. Really ask yourself, where am I using this at? So if you're in some really tight waterways, if you're in some really tight spaces, maybe need to get turned around, if you're just doing really shallow creeks and rivers, the 10-footer may be the best for you. But if you got a little bit of room to maneuver in, and when I say a little bit of room, you could still do rivers and creeks in a 12-footer. It just depends, you know your body of water a little bit better there. If you're on lakes, especially open water, again, that 12-footer is going to be money for you. You're going to be able to carry more gear. The Pescador Pro model, you get about a 50-pound, up in your weight capacity. Because again, you got more boat, more plastic. It gives you a little bit more buoyancy. The 12-footer is going to feel a little bit more stable too. But just wanted to get that out there. I hear a lot of people that when they're looking at a 10-footer, they don't like the 12-footer because they feel it's too much. But when they get it out on the water, both of them, they tend to like this one. These are a little better. There's a lot of models that do the 10 and the 12. I know the Tarpon 105, which I did a video on, that comes in a 12-footer also. I did the Kiowa from Liquid Logic. Again, you see the 12-footer here and the 10.5 here in the blue. Again, same thing, same size cockpit, maybe just a little bit longer, slender nose, but going to be a faster paddle, maybe a little bit more enjoyable for your typical recreational floater. Even on the Pro Angler does a 12-foot and a 14-foot version. Same thing, guys. Same cockpit size, just a much longer nose and storage area, and a much longer tank well in the back there, which is for storage. So let me know what you think, guys. Do you have experience with both? Did you buy a 10-foot and maybe wish you went to 12-foot? Or did you buy a 12-foot, maybe wish you went a little smaller for 10-foot? Let me know down in the comments. That can really help people out when they're looking at these kayaks. They haven't bought yet and they're kind of struggling with that. Sometimes a little bit of accurate information can really kind of sway that and make them feel a little bit more confident in their decision. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for the support here. I really appreciate your comments, your feedback, and we're looking to get some more videos out to you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.